Welcome to the Parable Podcast. It's your boy Book. How y'all doing today? We launched a podcast, guys. Y'all excited? Because I know I'm excited. So, first, I just want to thank y'all for all the support, encouragement y'all been bringing out. Like honestly, overwhelming support and encouragement. Like I remember one time I'm in the gym and it's just like, "Oh, what's up? I, bro, I heard about Parable of the Day, that kind of stuff." So I'm not gonna lie, the kind of feedback and everything that I got, unexpected. And I just thank God. Like, I'm just grateful. And I appreciate everybody who's supporting me right now. I love y'all. I love y'all. So it's just, man, with the whole parable of the day journey thus far, it was just taking ideas, concepts from a biblical perspective, right? And breaking it down into tangible wisdom that everybody can at least try to gain something from. So that's really just this podcast is trying to extend that conversation. So you may ask, what is a parable? So I'm going to read the definition of a parable. A parable is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson as told by Jesus in the Gospels. That's what you're going to see. So one thing that a lot of people fail to appreciate, or I don't want to say a lot of people fail to appreciate, but it's not always commonly broadcasted, is the ministry of Jesus was very conversational. It's if you read through the gospels, you'll see more often than not, Jesus is having conversations with people versus him on some kind of platform and speaking to a congregation kind of thing. So one thing is with conversations, I feel like it's less of me talking at you but more of me connecting with you where you're at, getting to know you, getting to understand you, and being able to impart wisdom to where you're at that's beneficial. Because if you can't really reach that wisdom or you can't utilize what I'm sharing with you, it's of no use. So, one thing how I would define parables in a modern day sense, parables are simple stories encoded with significant wisdom. So, now this just talks about the nature of how I see things. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, one thing is everybody's created in a unique way. Everybody has their own makeup of how God created them. For me, I see this world as I don't know. I just see so many different things. Like my mind is always going. A lot of things are very analytical, of the sort. Like I just the way I see the world is it's very complex. Like, have you ever seen Prison Break? And in Prison Break, it's Michael Schofield, I think is his name. Michael Schofield, he's literally like the smallest interaction or the smallest thing, you see him analyzing it in 17 different ways. Like he even got like a blueprint of the jail hidden in his tattoos, like that kind of thing. That's kind of what happens in my head. I'm not gonna lie. But it's okay. I'm not crazy or anything. But one thing I really enjoy is taking the complexity of how life seems and making it very, very simple. Because really, everything that's complex is just a compilation of many simple concepts, processes, or things. Um, and that's kind of how like teachers do it in class. So like this whole biology, but they break down biology in a way that's, oh wow, I didn't know anything about biology starting out. Now I know about cells and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's just really what I see. I see that a lot of times we can read the Bible and kind of get lost at how it connects to my current situation. Like, yes, I understand Daniel and the lions den, but I'm not facing no lions right now. I'm facing trying to find a job. I'm facing these workplace things. I'm facing this trying to make things shake in my current life. So, but I see how the Bible is very much applicable to our modern day society, especially being a young millennial Gen Zer. I'm like in between both. So I'm just whatever you want to say, but just being like a young adult now trying to literally live a better life, trying to be Christ led in what you're doing and stuff like that. So I feel like one thing God has gifted me with is just being able to break things down in a way that everybody can understand it. And what happens is with the gifts, you're supposed to give them out. So this is me using not me. You might see me like, oh my goodness, you're so whatever. but it's actually I'm just using what God has given me, because the gift is I didn't earn it. So he's gifted it to me, and he gifted it to me to help impact other people. So this is an attempt, and gonna be various attempts. We're gonna see how successful it is, but by God's grace, it'll be successful in helping impact other people's lives, um, using my gifts. So one thing. So why all of this in the first place? So what's the significance with Parable of the Day, Parable Podcast, or just Book building up the kingdom everywhere? Um, One thing is my life philosophy, right? I see the world as this. There's a lot of problems. I'm not gonna lie, it's ghetto out here, y'all. It's a lot of problems in our current world, whether it's in America, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Asia. Russia got issues too. Like it's just all over. You see issues in various degrees, in various realms, industries, and various sects. So my thing is like, okay, there's so many issues in this world, but I can't address every single issue. But I am interested in almost every single issue. But one thing I notice is that wherever there's problems, right, there's people in. Because the thing is like you can't identify that's a problem, and you need a person to identify that that's a problem. Like even the glacier caps melting in Antarctica, there's no people there, but there's people that understand that that's happening, and they're bringing awareness to it. So somebody, there has to be a person to either that's either affected by the problem or there to identify the problem. So wherever there's a problem, there's a person. And one thing I know is, according to Jeremiah 1:5 and Ephesians 2:10, that every person was created with a purpose. And God has good works that every person was designed, to walk in. So now, if there's problems everywhere, and wherever there's a problem, there's a person. And wherever there's a person, there's a purpose. Now, if I can help these people walk in purpose, those people walking in purpose will now start addressing those problems in our everyday society. So my purpose is to help you with the wisdom that God has given me, experiences, the understanding, anything that God has given me to help you break free from whatever's holding you, to help you gain insight, understanding, empowerment in order to walk in the purpose that God has given you. Because when you walk in your purpose, things are going to happen. So it's like everybody's like a piece of a puzzle. And my piece of this puzzle is helping use wisdom or using my analytical mind to understand things to help bring that wisdom to people. And that wisdom to people, when it's applied, it can help them walk in purpose. And when they walk in purpose, other problems are getting addressed. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of this in the first place. So, and the thing is like, here's an example, right? If, or here's a question. If, if mankind never fell in the garden, right? If the relationship with God was never severed, would we need Jesus to come? Think about it. Would we need him to come in the manifestation of a human body and live the life and then die on the cross? Well, we need that if the relationship was never severed. See, Jesus came back with the purpose to reconcile us back to God. And everything he did was aligned with that purpose. Because Jesus, when they wanted to make him, they wanted to make Jesus king at one point. But if Jesus allowed them to make him a king, and being a king isn't a bad thing. But if they allowed him to make him become a king for them and just rule over them and whatever and do his demonstrations, he wouldn't have gone to the cross. So he would have been productive, but he wouldn't have been in purpose. His purpose wouldn't have never been fulfilled. So I feel a lot of times that we're going through life and stuff like that, like we're finding things to do and make ourselves productive. So yeah, we find ourselves in places and we're using what we can to be productive, but are we walking in purpose? So my goal is to help people align with walking in their purpose that God created you for, through various lessons and understandings and from a biblical perspective. Because Everything for this life is found in the Bible. I'm telling you the honest to God truth. And you may not see that, but God's shown me some of that. And he's showing me. So whatever he's showing me, I'm sharing. Because it wasn't meant for me, it's meant for you. Like, well, it wasn't only meant for me, it's meant for all of us. So yeah. So who am I? If some of y'all don't know, my name is Chukwuebuka Abro, also known as Book. 24-year-old Nigerian from the DMV, just in love with Jesus. I love a variety of things. I have interest in sciences, like deep sciences, like biomedical engineering sciences, like those kind of things. Interest in sports, healthcare, and I play jazz. Like I'm a trumpet player. I also play jazz. I love all things music. If you know me, I have a very strong relationship with food. Sometimes detrimental, but God's delivering us. But I really love food. I love things involving business and development and those kind of things. And I just love learning. I love sharing wisdom. I love gaining wisdom. I love intellectual conversations. Those are the things that I like. So that's a little bit about me. Um, and so I just really hope on this journey of the Parable Podcast that you understand that your life is a parable too. Your story is a parable. And what do I mean by your story is a parable? There's wisdom, there's impact, there's truth found all throughout your life. And then my prayer is that as we walk through this journey of the Parable Podcast, you see it too. You understand it too. Because I'm telling you the truth. Like, think about it like this, right? Why this is so important to me is because I've tried, I've done multi-level marketing. Um, I trade as well. Um, like you heard, like I have so many different interests, but in these interests, there's money involved. So like there's some kind of success. And I've seen people who are extremely successful in several of these industries, and I know them personally. So it's not like I don't have the resources or the tools, but it's just like I get into it and it's just something's missing. Um, and the something that's missing is it fully aligned with my purpose? Like sometimes I feel like sometimes I would take something that's a part of my purpose and center myself on it when actually it's just a part. And Christ, what Christ is doing, what God's will is, should be the center. So I don't know if I'm speaking to anybody right now. Like you may have been, you may be doing something it's like, yo, I'm making money. I got a relationship. I got friends. I got influence. I got a platform. I got all these things, but some things missing. And there's a certain level of fulfillment. There's a certain level of joy that only comes from when you walk in what you were designed to do. And the thing is, we all know that one day we're gonna have our time when we go meet our maker. Everybody one day, and I pray nobody's day is sooner than your time. But do you understand that when you walk in the purpose that God has created for you, it carries impact beyond this realm? The thing is, like a lot of things, sometimes I used to get caught up in like, yo, all of this is vanity. All of this is vanity. But think about like this. Jesus walked in his purpose. And even though he fulfilled that purpose on earth, his purpose still carries impact today. Okay, Jesus is our Lord and Savior. Okay, so we're gonna put him to the side right now. Abraham walked in purpose. He did what God called him to do. He's a father of faith. He trusted God. That's literally the main thing Abraham did. He trusted God. And that purpose that he lived out carried impact beyond his current generation. Everybody still talks about Abraham until today. David's purpose. So things like, okay, let's take out biblical characters. Martin Luther King Jr.'s purpose. The reality of what we're living today is because that man dared to walk in purpose. So when you walk in your purpose that God created you for, It goes beyond your lifetime, your lifespan, and it goes beyond your generation and your physical realm. Like Eric Thomas, guy I listen to all the time. He looks up to Martin Luther King Jr. He's like, I want a Nobel Peace Prize. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to be the fullest of what God put in me. Impact beyond generations, impact beyond my physical realm. So I'm telling you, like, walking in your purpose is is the greatest thing that you can do. And when you understand the impact and importance, and you send your life on walking in your purpose that Christ is giving you, bro, your life is going to look very different. It's going to look very different. And I pray that this podcast helps you walk in that. So thank you for tuning in this first episode. I'm excited. Let's get to the next one and the next one, and let's like share, like comment what you like to talk about, the questions that you have. Share, like, subscribe, all those things. Catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever. Like, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all tuning in with us today. Catch you on the next one.